So I have this photo right here, and these are the first 10 fragrances. This was the state of the collection. Now this is the state of the collection. It's been a hard road on my bank. So I started it out back in 2014, 15, and I picked up my first ever bottle of Polo Red. And this was my very first fragrance that I graduated from Axe Body Spray. And yeah, it's nice. It is nice. It's a nice fragrance. It smells classy, nice, and fresh, uplifting, grapefruit. And I think there's a coffee note in here, but it's kind of subdued. It's kind of lackluster when it comes to performance. It smells great. It smells very nice. It does have some uniqueness about it. This is not my first bottle of it. This is my third bottle of this. Yeah, I wore it a lot. My first bottle was a little 2.5 ounce bottle, and then I graduated into bigger bottles and bigger bottles, finally settling on the 4.2 ounce. And I'm never gonna go through this. This one is like halfway down. Yeah, about halfway. Anyway, I would not recommend you pick this one up. It is pretty nice. It is fairly decent. It's not like, you're not gonna be disappointed with it, but you most likely will be disappointed with the longevity. This is not a stellar performer. It kind of lacks in that department, but it does smell pretty nice. I made some excellent memories with that thing. This one right here, Burberry, Mr. Burberry, Eau de Parfum. Yes, I really love this stuff. I actually bought this one full retail from Sephora. I remember the day when I went and bought it. It was a special day, it was a nice day, and I think it was around my birthday actually, I bought this one. But I bought it from Sephora, yes, full retail. F in the chat from Nate. Anyway, that was before I knew any better about, buying fragrances online and discounters, which if you want to shop at all, there's going to be links down in the description down below for the discounters that I use to purchase all my fragrances. But Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum is an excellent, classy fragrance. This one mixes the versatility with the dark, mysterious just perfectly. It is so nice. It is a bit generic. A lot of people don't really vibe with it just because of that fact, because it's super generic. But I find that this stuff is super, super nice. I love wearing it in the fall time. This is a great fall fragrance for me, and springtime. I like the spring. I feel like it's a little too dense for the summertime, but it could be worn any time of the year, really. It's an excellent fragrance. I love wearing it, and that was one of my very first, I thought it was one of my first high-end fragrances, but then I realized like after a month of owning it that it's like a cheaper fragrance. So I was a little disappointed, just slightly. These are not in the order that I actually bought them, but I'm just going kind of in the order of the photo. And this one is Club de Nuit Intense Man. I remember I was on the hunt for this thing. I remember when I was looking for this one, I went into Dillard's and I asked the lady, I said,
do you have Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man?
Yes, I was very naive, okay? I did not understand what, discounters and clone houses, any of it. But I went into Dillard's and Macy's and was like, hey, do you have Club de Nuit Intense Man? And they looked at me like,
what the hell are you talking about?
I said, it's a popular Creed Aventus clone. Do you have that? They didn't even know what Creed Aventus was, let alone what a clone of Creed Aventus was. But there was a store in the mall, and I went up to them and I was like, hey, I'm looking for Club de Nuit Intense Man. It's a Creed Aventus clone. This was the third store I've been to. She was like, yeah, I have that. I was like, what? And then I actually smelled Aventus that day, which was great. But she pulled out the bottle of Club de Nuit Intense Man, and I sprayed it on. I loved it. I bought a bottle right then and there. I paid $70 for it. $70, yeah. It was a ripoff, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I was like hesitant at that time about ordering things from discounters because I thought discounters were scams, because it kind of looks a little sketchy. When the retail store sells it for $100 and then you go online and it's 30 bucks, you're like, no, that's a scam. But trust me guys, if you're new to fragrances, it's not a scam. These fragrances are just overpriced at retailers. Anyway, Club de Nuit Intense Man, it's great. This one was, this is the reason I got into this whole thing. This is so nostalgic. So my previous partner She got me a box of, it was like a subscription box, like a $5 box. And she got it for me for my birthday, which I was very grateful for. And in the box, there was some samples of fragrances, a lot of cheap ones, but this one really stood out to me. And I was like, yo, this is really nice. I shared it with her. She loved it too. So I was like, I have to get a bottle of it. So once again, I was looking around everywhere for it. I was like, do you have Lacoste L'Homme Intense? Do you have the original Lacoste L'Homme? Do you have the Lacoste L'Homme? No one had it. And I looked it up on Google, and they said they had it at Kohl's for 50 bucks. So I spent 50 bucks for this at Kohl's, but I was so thrilled that I actually found it in my area and I could go and pick it up. It was a little bit of a hassle to try to find it locally, but I was really impressed that I was actually able to get it. Now that I look back on it, I'm like, why wouldn't you just order it online? I was actually determined to find it in a store nearby, which was incredible. This next one is the same one. It's a flanker of it. This is the Intense version, Lacoste L'Homme Intense. Fantastic stuff right here. This is a rhubarb smell, and the other one has a rhubarb smell with it too. You know, this is a very rhubarb heavy fragrance line, and it's fantastic. I really want to pick up the Timeless version. There's another flanker. I'm not sure what it's called right now. I love this stuff. It's so elegant and so nice, and it's an easy wear that you can throw on and just enjoy your life, enjoy your day. Very good stuff there. There's a reason I got the Intense version, because the original was so good, but it didn't last that long. So I was like, I want something a little bit more intense. But by the time I bought the Intense version, I kind of got into the fragrance addiction kind of cycle. So I started collecting a lot more and a lot more. And so with that, I wasn't able to wear it all that much, like really enjoy it like I did with the original. The original, I wore half a bottle of it. But with the Intense version, that was right around the time I started really picking up the fragrance addiction. So, you know, just be warned of that. Kind of kills the passion. All right, this next one is Armaf. This is Voyage Blue. This, I actually picked this one up at the same retailer that I picked up Club de Nuit Intense Man from. And so when she recommended this one to me, I was looking for something musky. I asked the sales associate, I said, I'm looking for a fragrance that is a little bit more musky that I could wear, like something musky. And she was like, I got the perfect thing for you. And she referred me to this, which it does have some good musk in it. I'm not gonna, trash on her for that, but there's probably better musky fragrances on the market. This is a Bleu de Chanel cologne, and it's kind of synthetic. It's not really a one-to-one, but I do enjoy it very much so. It is some pretty good stuff. I wore a lot of it. I wore half a bottle of it. You could actually see the level in there. You could see it right there. But yeah, I wore half of it, and yeah, it's good. It's a nice fragrance. It's so nostalgic for me. Brings back so many good memories. This one right here, this was my first expensive fragrance. This is the one I spent more than $120 on a single bottle, and which leads me into the next one too. The story does, but this is the YSLY Eau de Parfum, and fantastic. I mean, I'll tell you, this is just, when I bought this, pretty much when it first came out, it was out for like, a day or so when I went and bought it, or it was like a week. That's when it was in Ulta, but this is fantastic. The thing that really sold me on this is the opening. The opening is just fantastic. It's apple, it's fresh, it's inviting, it's ginger. It's just powerful. It is really powerful. It's headache inducing. YSLY Eau de Parfum was in a kind of a step up for me within my fragrance collection, because it had this like more luxurious feel to it because of all the other fragrances that I've had in the past. I had like clones, and then I had some Lacoste fragrances. This was my very first like top of the line designer. Polo Red is a top of the line designer, but I feel like YSL Eau de Parfum was just the staple for my collection at the time. And I actually bought that one. I bought this one first from Ulta, but then I returned it because you can pick this one up on discounters for like 30 bucks. This was John Varvatos Artisan Pure, and so I bought this one initially from Ulta. and then I sprayed it on in the car. I loved every minute of it. I was so excited, drove home, and I watched a bunch of reviews on it. I watched like Jen Sense and all these other guys back in the day, and they were talking about this one that you can pick it up from discounters for like 30 bucks. What I did is I went back the next day and I returned it. I returned this. And mind you, again, this was the small bottle. This was the 2.5 ounce bottle. So I went back, I returned John Varvatos, and I spent the extra like $22, and I just picked up the YSL Eau de Parfum. And this was the best decision. Because then after I returned it, I went right over to TJ Maxx, and guess what was sitting there? This bottle. The 4.2 ounce bottle was sitting there for 25 bucks. It was like $24.99. And I was like, I just bought this one and that one, and I was super over the moon. Yes, I was blowing money left and right. I was super naive, and I did not have my priorities straight. But who does? Who does? But here is the photo of my full collection, full reveal. And then the other ones too are Polo Blue, Eau de Parfum, and Polo Black. I don't have those anymore. Actually, I lie. I have the Polo Blue in my bug out bag, just in case the world goes to I have a good fragrance that I can wear, you know, for the end of the world. And then Polo Black, I threw it away because I feel like it's spoiled. It just smelled really off, and I'm pretty sure I got scammed on it, so I just threw it away. Anyway, then I went on to transition into buying all the fragrances that you see here. And yes, I'm a little ashamed of myself, but I smell fantastic, and you should too. Follow me for more if you want to see more fragrance related content, and throw what your first ever 10 fragrance, if you don't remember what your first 10 fragrances were, that's fine. What was your first three? First three in the comments down below. That's some homework. I want to know. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We'll see you next time.